Hi everybody, welcome to Future Legend Television. I'm Jamie M. Tonight we have a John Barry special. John Barry is acknowledged as one of the greatest composers of his generation. Tributes have been pouring in over the past few months. A memorial concert will be held in London at the Royal Albert Hall on June the 10th. Also out now is the album A Tribute to John Barry on download. Instead of the usual suspects, it features new interpretations of his work, produced and arranged by cult record producer Russell C. Brennan, aka Russell C. Writer. In 1994, because of his cult theme productions, Russell was identified as the ideal person to take over from John Barry whilst he was ill. Then, in 1999, when the two met at a BBC interview, John was highly complimentary about the covers that Russell had done of his work. Russell has done 15 Bond covers and many new interpretations of the tracks that feature on the album A Tribute to John Barry, including The Persuaders, The Adventurer and The Ipcress File. And now we have an exclusive behind-the-scenes interview with Russell Writer about the 10 new tracks featuring on the album A Tribute to John Barry.
So, the clandestine meeting, yeah, that was in New York in 1994 when I was promoting this record by Box Office Poison at the band I had at the time. We were managed by Wayne Forte, who managed Bowie and Nine Inch Nails, and he got a call from a guy called George Craig, and all very hush-hush, let's have a dinner meeting. Got to the meeting and he said to me, we've identified you as the new John Barry. I thought, what's all this about? And he said, unfortunately John's got a cancer scare with throat cancer and he might not be able to do his work, and you've been identified as the person we think could fill in for him. Because you've produced lots of cult TV and film themes, which you're well known for, including Bond covers, and that your original music is very filmic. Fortunately, John did get better, and I didn't need to replace Mr. Barry on that occasion, and that's the story of how I first came to be identified as the possible replacement for John Barry.
So, hello Russell. For those of us who don't know a lot about your career, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
I'm a cult record producer, that's what they call me anyway. About 250 releases as a record producer, listed on one website in the top 20 most innovative record producers of all time. Been in a number of bands, I wrote and produced for a cult artist, Ellen Rigby. I've been in Ministry of Ska, did the Ska surf genre music, and our only album's highly sought after, so they tell me. I've been in Box Office Poison, who feature quite a lot on this tribute to John Barry, and my latest band is called Psychic Holiday, and we've even got new management who used to manage John Lennon, Paul Weller, Red Hot Chili Peppers, so obviously we must be rated at the moment. I've got a new album out called Forever Pop Noir, in case you want to check it out, but we're here ready to talk about the John Barry album, A Tribute to John Barry, and that just gives you a little bit of background music about myself. One interesting thing, I suppose I should say, I started a cult themes trend, which was to do new versions of cult TV and film themes, which became like a big lifestyle trend, and that's my main kind of connection to Bond originally. And yeah, my name's Russell C. Brennan, also known as Russell C. Writer. So yeah, that's it.
understand you're a bit of an adventurer yourself, so it's no surprise you covered that track, The Adventurer. I also understand you did something unique on the production. What did you do?
The Adventurer. I've lived my life as an adventurer, so to me it's like my theme tune, but that's beside the point. At the end of the day, The Adventurer is one of John Barry's most underrated themes. It's absolutely a brilliant spy theme. It was from a 70s TV show of the same name, obviously, and I think it deserves to be heard. That's why I did it on Cult Themes from the 70s Volume 2, and now I'm really pleased that it's the main track and been featured as a single for a tribute to John Barry album available on download. But one quick story about it is I've got a unique sound on it. Instead of going for the harpsichord sound, I decided I'd use the high end of the bass guitar on a keyboard, which nobody ever uses at all, and it could give it such a unique sound instead of the harpsichord. I think it really makes it distinctive, so that's something to listen out for. And that's my quick anecdote about The Adventurer.
Meeting you with a view
Yes, it's another shameless plug, this time for Psychic Holiday. Now, the Psychic Holiday track is A View to a Kill that features on a tribute to John Barry and also on the themes Bond, James Bond, which it was exclusive to originally. Psychic Holiday are my new band, and just like, because the idea behind the Cult Themes albums that I did was to help break new bands through new versions of cult TV and film themes, and including the James Bond ones obviously, and it worked by and large to help give exposure to those acts. So I thought, since I've got a new band, Psychic Holiday, and why not do a Bond theme, and thought, yeah, let's do A View to a Kill. But you know, because of the way I produce records, which has got me such a good reputation, that's landed me in the top 20 most innovative record producers of all time, I tend to think outside the box when arranging something. So I decided, right, first of all, we'll have a female vocalist, which was lucky because I had a female vocalist in Psychic Holiday, and instead of sort of Simon Le Bon, who did the original, obviously Duran Duran. And secondly, instead of going for an electronic thing, I totally went back to roots of making it sound like Goldfinger. So it's got all those Goldfinger touches to it with the brass and everything. And so it was no surprise to me, being a big Bond fan myself, that all the Bond fans started raving about A View to a Kill when it came out, saying it was one of the best Bond covers ever. But hey, you can be the judge. Get the album, a tribute to John Barry, or you know, the themes Bond, James Bond, sadly both only available as download, and see what you think of A View to a Kill.
I thought it was great that John Barry and you met up at a BBC studio in 1999, and he got nothing but praise about the covers you'd done for his work. Tell us a bit about what he said to you.
The man was a true gent and a true genius, in my opinion. Anyone who's heard my original music will know the major influence in it is Ennio Morricone and John Barry, musically and lyrically. Someone more like Paul Weller, Ray Davies, and so on. So, you know, to finally get to meet him was great. I mean, it was, I think it was 1999, around that sort of time. Had cult themes from the 70s out at the time, and I decided, after doing lots of James Bond themes and more well-known themes on the previous cult themes, we'd do more obscure tracks that people weren't as familiar with, by people like Lalo Schifrin, even John Carpenter, you know, and of course John Barry. And so we did The Adventurer back then. And anyway, I got a call from the BBC because the cult themes thing that I started became a trend to help break new artists, and kind of clubs sprung up, and you know, it just became a big thing, and Virgin copied it in the end with This Is Cult Fiction. But mine was there to help break new artists and give exposure to the composer's tracks that, you know, wouldn't normally get heard as much. So I was called by the BBC, went down to do this interview about how cult themes was becoming influential, and on the same show was John Barry, and he was saying, well, you know, to him, Bond themes, and in fact his TV themes, were just as much a backdrop to people's lives as you know, the Beatles were, which I tend to agree with, because, you know, I remember all the music I grew up with, but I also remember a lot of the TV shows that I really liked, and particularly if they had a great theme, I'd always love that theme, and that's how comes I got into cult themes in the first place, and why cult themes are such big business that people didn't even realise, but I knew. So yeah, so, you know, he said to me, oh, I really like the cover versions you've done of a lot of my tracks. He said, I particularly like the way you've kind of totally transformed the Persuaders. That was a very original take on these Persuaders. When I met John Barry, he said I'd put so many new bits in it, it was almost like a new piece of work, and he hoped I didn't want any royalties for it. Well, of course I didn't. It was just inspired by Persuaders. It's got a lot of the riff in there, but it is a bit like a new piece of work. It's very experimental, but it's very pop noir, which is the style of music that I invented some years ago, which has a jazz punk attitude, classical ambience, hypnotic grooves, and a filmic feel. And it had the great backing vocals of Misty Woods on it. But yeah, Persuaders, he liked that version, so definitely check that one out.
I understand you used a particular trick when you covered Thunderball, and John Barry sussed it out immediately. What was it?
He said, the thing about what I love about your tracks is you always bring something new to the table. Some people just kind of do like karaoke versions, you know, faithful to the original and exactly the same, but with not as good a singer, you know. He says, he sussed out one of my tricks, of course, which is if a male singer sings a track, then what happens is the female singer then sings a track. And I did this with Thunderball, which he noticed straight away that obviously you can't compete with Tom Jones, so I got a really good girl singer to sing it, and so that was a good trick used on Thunderball, and that was the closest I came to being faithful to an original Bond theme. Footnote about Thunderball. The girl who did it, Jo Sharp, was a very brilliant singer-songwriter, but no one was giving her a shot because she was overweight at the time. So I thought she deserved the exposure, so she did her first ever solo single for doing Thunderball, and then she ended up joining Box Office Poison temporarily. She ended up doing one other track, Windmills of Your Mind, and then unfortunately left the business because of the prejudice.
You're heavily associated with is the cult artist Eleanor Rigby. With her you covered the Bond theme, You Only Live Twice. Turned out to be one of your most successful records and a #1 hit.
Well, Eleanor was one of the acts that I'm most closely associated with because I wrote and produced all her material. So when it came to doing a Bond theme, naturally I did the first one with her, and my favourite Bond theme is You Only Live Twice. Just love the strings, you can't beat that string riff. John Barry is like top notch just for that alone. Anyway, when I met John at the BBC when we were doing an interview together, he said to me, "Oh, I really like that cover version you did of You Only Live Twice." He said, in fact, a lot of it suited the song more than his version because he put like a harmonica in it and I put kotos in it, and that gave it more of a Japanese feel. And since the James Bond film was set in Japan, it suited him more. He said Eleanor was one of the best vocalists he'd ever heard, and that's saying something come from the man who's produced some of the top vocalists that there's been. And he said Nancy was a brilliant vocalist as well, but Eleanor just shaded it. And luckily, when we released, the Eleanor Rigby You Only Live Twice went to #1 in Italy, and so it's her only #1 and my only #1, and I'm really pleased that it's ended up on the album A Tribute to John Barry.
Controversy never seems to be far from your career. When you arranged The Deep, did you plan for it to be somewhat controversial?
My band at the time was Box Office Poison, and we'd just done an album called Heavy Breathing Decade. It had lots of very sexy, raunchy songs on it. So naturally, we wanted to transfer that onto whatever theme we were doing. And surprisingly, I was surprised to learn that John Barry had co-written this track at The Deep with Donna Summer, who was known for very sexy records, right? So I thought, yeah, that would be just right for us. So I decided we'd do a cover of The Deep, which is one of John Barry's lesser known tracks. And we did it in a really raunchy way, but where it really went popular was the fact that when I was interpreting the lyrics, I'm sure it said something warm is coming inside of me, which I still think to this day is what it says, but then somebody later on says maybe it's not what it says. But it suits the track and it suits our style at the time. And it's really, definitely a really raunchy, lot of impact version of The Deep.
To express
That's it, folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right, well, I've got you. Here's a quick story about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. When I decided to do this, I was editor of a magazine with a girl called Avril, and we called ourselves the Editors. Years later, along comes a band called Editors, which obviously nicked our name, but the penance for that is a lot of people think it's the same band, but what can I say, that's what happens when you nick someone else's name. Anyway, to get onto the recording, anyone remember Nick Beggs, Kajagoogoo? Well, he became A&R at Phonogram Records. I went in to see him one day. He blagged a copy of things from the 60s off me that I produced that had On Her Majesty's Secret Service on. And he said, what a great production. He loved it. He was booking people into 24-track studios at the time. And little did he know, it was recorded on a 4-track, and it was improvised, me on the drums, Avril on the keyboards, and quickly mixed together. But it captures the essence of Bond, and even one of the tracks wasn't working, so it was a 3-track recording. But nobody can tell between the 3-track recording and the 24-track recordings. I guess that's what makes me a good record producer.
I understand you covered a vocal version of From Russia With Love, but on the album you've only done an instrumental version. What's the reason for that?
Because to me, the instrumental encapsulates everything that is great about John Barry's music. It stands the test of time as an instrumental on its own, and it really says Bond, that particular track, along with Her Majesty's Secret Service, I think is the other one that really says it as instrumentals. So that's why it features on a tribute to John Barry, From Russia With Love.
Box Office Poison, did a cover of the Ipcress Files. Is this a particular track of John Barry's that you rate?
He was known for doing the James Bond themes. The archetypal spy also in the 60s was Michael Caine playing in Ipcress File, and again that was so perfect as a spy theme. It just captured the Cold War thing perfectly, and I can't sing John Barry's praises high enough because he captured the feel. To me, it's in a way, I guess it is a bit pop noirish because there was no words to Ipcress File, but you just a few bits of the music and you know it's a spy thing. And then just to make it unique, as that whistling in it. Anyway, we did a lot of improvisation also on that track, but we tried to remain a bit truer to the original. So that's a little bit about the Ipcress File.
out of all the Bond themes you covered, John Barry liked Moonraker the best. Why do you think he was so enamoured with that track?
This was supposed to be done by Mouse, but ended up being done by a girl I discovered called Joan Martin, who later changed her name to Phoenix J. She was a top 20 hit artist in Singapore, and then she came over to the UK and was really struggling to get a record deal, get any interest in her. So she turned to me to help her out as a record producer, and I was doing cult themes from the 70s Volume 2, and the obligatory Bond tracks were being chosen. As I say, Mouse turned it down. I had a unique idea what I wanted to do with Moonraker, and Joan's music totally suited it, Eurasia Fusion. However, when I turned up to actually record the track in her own home studio, she'd already done this backing track of some R&B thing, like the latest charts, and it had no soul, no feel. It was just, she was trying to copy whatever the latest chart thing was, and I said, no, you've got the wrong idea. That's not what Bond's all about. Plus, I thought we were here to like push your own style of music, which is the Eurasia Fusion. So I immediately deleted that track that she did and started work on Moonraker with these nice percussion stuff that I did with kotos, and I played the drums and whatnot on it, and got this really hypnotic backing track, which is a pop noir thing that I do. And then she did like the strings and the piano tune, and then she gave it her best Diana Ross impression as a vocalist, which she sounded a little bit like, but she had a unique voice anyway. And then I got her to almost, as a mid-late, because she played flute, to try and play a little bit of You Only Live Twice, but she with variation, and that's what she did. And the track turned out as like a brilliant version of a Bond theme, and much better than the original in my opinion. So it was heartwarming when I met John Barry for him to say that was far and away the best cover of a James Bond theme, because although he didn't mention any names, it sounded to me like somebody else was supposed to do the original, and they ended up getting Shirley Bassey to do it. She'd already done 2 brilliant Bond themes, as you know. You can't compete with Goldfinger. That's why I never bothered to do a cover of that one. And Diamonds Are Forever, again a brilliant, Shirley Bassey thing. But Moonraker, it did sound like she was going through the motions, and that's kind of the vibe that I was kind of hinted at was going on. So he was over the moon about Moonraker. I thought it was a great version, and So, Moonraker is one of the ultimate Bond covers in my opinion, along with the View to a Kill that I've done. And you know, Live Twice, and those in fact were the three favourites by John Barry, and so I'm glad that all three are included on a tribute to John Barry album. So, hope you enjoyed the bit of trivia and behind the scenes about the themes that feature on a tribute to John Barry. Sadly only available as a download album, but you know, check it out. Thanks a lot. Bye.